And it's just this idea of compounding interest, the idea that small decisions made over and over and over again compound or snowball into a much greater big change. Check out the new mug. If you know, you know. But that's not what this video is going to be about. This video is going to be about a Netflix docuseries that just recently came out called Madoff. And it is about Bernie Madoff and his big financial fraud Ponzi scheme. The story of how it basically came into existence and then how it all fell apart and basically blew up in their face. It's a super interesting story, probably one of the biggest stories in the world of finance. But it's also a really sad story just because so many people's lives were destroyed from this. But as I was watching it, I couldn't help but think, there's some really important life lessons that can be learned from hearing this story. For anyone who's not familiar with what a Ponzi scheme is or like what exactly happened, basically what it is when an investment firm, a financial investment firm, uses the money from one customer to pay off another customer. So for example, say a customer or client A goes to Bernie Madoff's company and says, hey, here's $10,000, will you invest this for us and make us a return? They say, sure, yeah, give us a year or two and we'll do that. Client B then comes to Bernie Madoff's company as well and they ask for the same thing. They say, hey, here's $10,000, can you invest it and make us some money? However, the thing is though, instead of Bernie and his company actually investing it into the stock market and making it the right way, he just uses client B's money to pay off client A and tell them that that's the return that they got from the stock market. So it's fraud, it's lying, it's cheating, and it's very illegal. And basically what ends up happening is you have to continually be bringing in new clients and new customers and new money in order to pay off those pre-existing older customers. So it's kind of just a ticking time bomb waiting to happen. But let's jump into some of like the bigger life lessons that I learned from this. And the first one is that what's done in the dark always comes to light. And what I mean by this is that you can only fake or hide or lie about something for so long until it eventually comes to the surface. The truth always ends up coming out in some way or another over time. And I think what a lot of people do is they think that they can have the best of both worlds. They think that they can start up a company and have it be successful and long lasting, but they can still lie to their customers or cheat their customers or just practice shady business practices. Or if you want to think about it in a relationship sense, people think that they can have this perfect, happy, long-lasting relationship with someone, but then they're still going out acting like a single person and flirting with other girls or cheating on their significant other. And it just doesn't work that way. The truth always comes to the surface. The truth always comes out. And not only does the truth always come out, but I also really think that, if you want to live a fulfilling and happy, enjoyable life, you just can't build your life on lies. You can't build your life on something that's fake. If you want to live up to your potential and become the person that you know and want to become, you just can't do that by not being genuine and lying and cheating and faking to people. You can see several times in the documentary where the different employees of the company are constantly stressed out, they're anxious, they're paranoid because they know that they're living this lie and they're so scared of getting caught that it kind of just ruins their quality of life. And the older I get, the more I think to myself, how much is my peace of mind worth? And as I watch this film, I see these different employees and Bernie who may have been making a lot of money, but to me, it's not worth the stress and anxiety and paranoia that also comes with all that money. So again, the truth always ends up coming out. And then the second big lesson is that small decisions matter. Now, when I initially say this, I think back to the point in the film where they're talking about Bernie initially starting the company. And I'd be willing to bet that when Bernie initially started this company and made that first lie, that first shady business practice, he didn't think it was gonna blow up into the magnitude that it did. He probably didn't think it was gonna get to the point to where it's billions of dollars that are built off a lie. He probably thought, I'm gonna do it one time, I'll get away with it, make a quick buck, and then that'll be it, I'll be done with it, I'm not gonna do it anymore. But what ends up happening is that, that first initial small lie leads to another small lie, which leads to another small lie, which leads to another small lie. And then next thing you know, you got this giant business or life that's built off lies, and you're continuing to tell new lies in order to protect the previous lies from getting exposed. It's essentially a very slippery slope, and it kind of leads into the overarching theme that, big changes happen through small incremental movements that happen over and over and over again. If you look at any of the big successful companies that end up failing and going bankrupt, it's not like that just happens overnight. It's the result of small, poor decisions that are made over and over and over again. However, this can also be a good thing. If you look at it through the lens of your own life and you think about something like going to the gym every day or going to the gym every other day, it's a pretty small, harmless task, but if you do it day in, day out, 6 months from now or a year from now, the change is gonna be night and day difference. Or you can even think about it in the sense of investing, like financially. If you invest $15 or $20 into the stock market or an index fund once a week and just do that over the course of years, it may not seem like a big deal week over week, but 5 years down the road or 10 years down the road, that can result in thousands of dollars that just compounded and grew over time. And it's just this idea of compounding interest, the idea that small decisions made over and over and over again compound or snowball into a much greater big change. So with all that being said, it's just a reminder to not underestimate the power of small decisions that you make, and understand that one small decision can completely change the direction of your life. And then moving on to point number 3, and this is the final one, and that's that your choices impact other people. And I get that this is kind of like common sense, but as I was watching the film, they start talking about how this fraud, this Ponzi scheme, how it impacted Bernie's families and the other families that invested with the company. And the one, perspective that really stands out to me is Bernie's wife. When they talk about how the scandal got exposed and everything started falling apart, they start talking about how it really impacted her. And some people would argue that she's not completely innocent, but she also wasn't the one lying to customers and making all the shady business deals. But her life was completely destroyed. She lost a husband that went to jail for the rest of his life. Both of her sons ended up dying at a young age. One committed suicide because he couldn't handle the anxiety and the public shame and stress of the entire situation. The other son died at a young age as well from cancer, likely because of all the stress and anxiety that caused his health to just deteriorate. And then all the money and the lifestyle they were used to having was now being taken away because they had to pay off all these different families that they screwed over. So, this is someone who was essentially not really involved in it, but had her life, her entire life completely flipped upside down. I think she was homeless at one point because of the decisions of her husband, because of the decisions of her sons, her family. And I say all of that because not only do your choices impact other people, but the decisions of other people also impact you. I think we always have to be conscious and aware of the people we're allowing into our lives and whether or not they're genuinely good people or not. Because if they're not, if they're people who aren't making smart decisions or people who you wouldn't want to model your life after, you should be very careful about surrounding yourself with them because they very well may bring negativity in your life, whether or not you want them to or not. But that's basically it. Those were 3 lessons I thought were really important as I was watching this movie, and I thought that they were very relatable to me and just about anybody else. What it really boils down to is just being truthful, just being honest, and just being true to yourself and not lying and screwing people over. It's not like a super crazy hard complicated concept to grasp, but if you do that, you're probably going to be all right. And if you're not doing that, if you're living off lies or you're faking or hiding something, this is your reminder to get those skeletons cleaned out of your closet and do better moving forward. Otherwise, there's probably a good chance that they will come to the surface at some point in your life. So let me know what you guys think on the film, the docuseries as a whole, and then just the points I made in this video. I always like hearing back from you guys, and I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. So until next time, peace.